Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the LTT Podcast. This is the show where we answer all of your questions that you send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums or in the YouTube comment section down below, or heading over to our Facebook page at Brendan Plays Official, or a voicemail on the website as well. This week, we're going to talk about everything to do with Monday Night Raw and Smackdown, a new cruiserweight debuting, Survivor Series teams officially finalized, a few things to talk about there, and just kind of my opinions on some various decisions that the WWE did this week. Obviously this week as well, the election went down. We're going to touch on that, not going to spend too much time on it, but we are going to touch on it on a very, very warm, hot nearly summer's day here in Australia. It is hot as hell. It has been an interesting week for me. Obviously, we had the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view being done over the weekend. I would say it was a pretty good success. We had a lot of people come along, even though we had to delay because of time constraints and things like that. But we actually got it done. Everything went down pretty well. I think most people enjoyed the show. A lot of people thought it was predictable. A lot of people, complained that they could predict the winners. And look, that does annoy me a little bit that people put the show down because there isn't, these crazy winners happening just before WrestleMania. There isn't all this, a lot of people just don't really seem to get what I'm trying to do with my universe mode, which is fine, but it's just the way it is. People want me to bring back these people that have no right being there. They want me to, have certain people win for no reason. They want to have different matchups for no reason. For example, I got a comment today. It's like, why are you doing Brock Lesnar and Kevin Owens? We already had it at TLC. It's, because the storyline, represents that's where we should be going. Kevin Owens lost the championship. He has a rematch clause. He deserves a rematch. Blah, 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 blah. So people complaining and nitpicking about all these little different things, they just don't understand what I'm doing. So it is frustrating at times. You read some feedback, and it is frustrating to see some people complain, but that's just the nature of the game. Not everyone's going to enjoy what you're going to do, and I thought I put up a good show. I hope that everyone enjoyed it who did watch it, and if it was predictable, I apologize. I'll try and work on that, I guess. Try and just do some crazy shit just to, just for the sake of it. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely enjoyed the pay-per-view. I thought it put out a pretty good show. I think most people responded pretty well to it. So pretty happy where we went, and pretty happy with what happened. So Elimination Chamber's all done, which means now we're on the road to WrestleMania. Officially, we got one more pay-per-view to do before WrestleMania, and that is the WrestleMania pay-per-view. That's it. We are one pay-per-view to go before, we kind of reset, start fresh, and kind of kick on with a new year of Universe mode, which I think is always cool. We kick it off with the draft, the Slammy Awards, and things like that, and, we go from there. I think it's going to be pretty exciting what I've got planned for the coming year of Universe mode, and it's going to be cool to kind of wrap it all up at WrestleMania. So, obviously a lot of pressure on me to make WrestleMania, amazing, which is going to probably put a lot of pressure on me to get it done. I think I might have to try and start working on it maybe now, really. Try and spend a lot of time of it, really make it a great, great show, perhaps my best show ever. It's going to be a really tough challenge, but we're going to try and get it done. I probably would say the last couple of weeks, my interest in WWE has kind of, in terms of WWE 2K17, has kind of gone away a little bit. Obviously, with Battlefield dropping, I've been really playing a lot of that. Now, Infinite Warfare and COD Remastered have also dropped as well, so I've kind of gone from Battlefield to the two Call of Duties, and even a bit of Mafia 3 on the side, and Skyrim as well on the side as well. So I kind of haven't really been paying much attention to WWE 2K17. I don't think it's really reflected in my videos, but I just feel like I haven't kind of given it the time that I probably should be. So I'm not really ahead on my videos. I'm kind of doing video day by day. So I need to kind of spend some more time, get the career modes back up and going again. So I've kind of just been really enjoying my time playing other games. Plus I had some exams to do as well. Got another one coming up next week. So busy times, but we are nearly at the end of my semester for the for university. So that's going to be cool. We get that out of the way, and then we can start to really focus on the videos for the Christmas period. But a lot of games that I've been looking to play. Dishonored 2's coming out. Watch Dogs 2's coming out. I'm sure there's other games I just can't quite think of it at the top of my head. But plenty of games I really want to get my hands on and play. So I don't know if I'll be getting them anytime soon. But I certainly am looking forward to playing something different and kind of spicing it up a little bit. Because, I play WWE like every day. I'm always on that. But it's always good to play other games. And I'm a big gamer. You guys know that by now. If you've been listening to the show for a long period of time, you guys know that I'm a huge gamer. And, playing WWE 2K is something I'll do for mainly videos, and then I'll kind of, jump around to other games. So like, for example, right now, obviously playing the shooters. I'm really a big shooter guy. I love my shooters. And I'm pretty decent at the shooters, like Battlefield, for example, 2.8 KD, kill death ratio, whatever the hell. And, even Infinite Warfare, I kind of really struggled in Infinite Warfare, but this week now, really starting to get the hang of it, kind of really starting to get the hang of moving around properly in the game again. So I've gone from like a 1.4 KD to about a 2.2 or 2.1, I think, or something like that. So I'm actually getting pretty better at those games, which are really cool. But one game I'm actually struggling is COD Remastered, COD 4, which is surprising because obviously, COD 4, I never really played COD 4. I missed COD 4, I started on MW2. But you think, maybe the Modern Warfare games will be my better games. But apparently I'm better at Infinite Warfare, which is a little strange. But I think because I've kind of got the movement down packed and a lot of people don't really have that yet, maybe it has given me the advantage on Infinite Warfare thus far. But really enjoying just playing the games right now. I know the PS4 Pro just came out as well. I'm not going to get it. Honestly, if I had it, I would love it. I mean, obviously, better visuals, better frame rate, things like that. Things that I think enhance your experience, but aren't necessarily a must-have. If you already have a PS4, I don't really see the point in kind of moving on to the PS4 Pro. I think if you're a first-time buyer, you definitely should buy the PS4 Pro. Why wouldn't you? Why would you buy a standard PS4? Unless, obviously, you're limited on funds. But if you can afford the PS4 Pro, you'd have to buy the PS4 Pro for sure. I still kind of stand by my statement that I believe that they're going to release another PS4 before this generation is over. And not a Slim or anything like that. I think another upgraded version. Because, obviously, the Scorpio is coming out next year from the Xbox. You'd have to probably assume the PS4 is going to want to have to compete and kind of one-up them again. Because their PS4 Pro is not exactly all that much stronger. I mean, it's not that much more powerful. It's less powerful than the Scorpio. So, it wouldn't surprise me if they release another PS4 and kind of upgrade it. So that's where I might jump in there. But then again, they release another PS4. How long is it till they really release the next console, the PS4 5? It wouldn't be that far away, would it? So is it really even worth buying it then? So these are the types of questions I'm going through. And obviously, I can afford it. I could buy it if I wanted to. And maybe if WWE 2K17, for example, ran better on it, was one of the compatible games, I would perhaps buy it, think about getting it for my video's sake. But it isn't, it isn't. And I don't have a 4K TV or anything like that yet, so I don't really see the point yet. Don't see the point, but it's something I'll keep my eye on in the future. I think the Scorpio looks pretty good, but obviously I'm more of a Sony guy. I'm a PlayStation guy, have been for years, so I'm going to stick with the PlayStation. So, yeah, it's something I'm looking at, but probably not going to pull the trigger on anyways. Neither am I going to pull the trigger on the PlayStation VR or anything like that. I'm really not a big fan of the VR gaming. I'm still a traditional console guy with a controller in your hand, I should say. That's my type of gaming. Now, PC, I have a really good PC, and I can play any PC game at the highest visuals, anything. I can run everything. I can do it all. But still, I just feel like I'm more at home with the controller in my hand. I'm more at home on the PlayStation. I love getting trophies. All my friends play PlayStation. So there's always something that I've kind of been leaning towards, staying on the console. Yes, if there's a game on the PC I must play, I really want to play, I can. But for the most part, I'm a happy console guy. And some people complain that a PC master race, graphics is everything. To me, it's not. Graphics isn't everything. As long as the game looks pretty good, I'm very happy. And I played Battlefield 1 on the PC mainly. The visuals were incredible. And then I went to the PS4 and it's not as good. We know that. But still, I have a lot of fun on the PS4 playing it. So it doesn't really bother me. So graphics aren't really everything to me. And I know I'm kind of just going all over the place so far to kick off the show, but graphics isn't really everything to me, so I guess the PS4 Pro probably, to link it back, the PS4 Pro doesn't really bother me at the moment. I think the only thing that I would care about is the enhanced performance, but graphics and things like that don't really bother me. And, the whole PC thing, if I want a PC game, I definitely can. I have the PC to do it. I just choose not to because I don't want to. That's simple as that. And maybe some of you guys listen to this show may be like, well, PC is the best. Well, maybe for you, but for me, console is my preference, and that's all I'm going to say. Anyways, I've kind of just started. I did not plan to start a PS4 chat at the start of the podcast, but anyways, the election. Now, obviously, I'm Australian. I don't have much of a comment to really say. Australia's reaction to Donald Trump has been very, very negative. There has been for the entire build-up towards this election. Everyone's always been more pro-Hillary. Trump has always been destroyed by our media. Everyone calling him an idiot. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's a racist. He's a sexist, blah, 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 blah. All I have to say about that, and it's the same, I've kind of been watching a lot of CNN lately and Fox News, because I've actually been generally intrigued by this election. Now, politics is something that every now and then I will take a look at and get really interested in. Generally around election time, it really fascinates me. But before that, before an election or anything like that, I don't really pay too much attention. But election time is something I'm always kind of very intrigued about, and I want to know more about it. So I've kind of been watching a lot. When the election was happening, I was watching on CNN and Fox News and whatever, on every different outlet, just kind of get their all different perspectives. Nobody really thought Trump was going to win. I wish I thought Trump was going to win. I actually had a feeling in mind, because I wish I thought he was going to win because I would have put some money on, because he was like $5 odds to win. Man, I could have won $500. If I was going to put $100 on Trump, I could have won $500. That's what I'm disappointed. That's the only thing I'm really frustrated about, is that I didn't back my instincts and think, okay, I think Trump's going to win. Why did I put my money where my mouth is? I really thought he was going to win, but I just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. But, yeah, so I could have won some money. And hey, if I had won that money, I could have bought a PS4 Pro, but I didn't. But the only thing I'm going to say really on the election is don't believe everything the media tells you. The media is very biased. The media will send a message and deliver a message that it wants to send. It's very rarely that it will give you a fair 50-50, airtime on both people, fair opinions and analysis on both people, both candidates. I'm just talking politics here. So, as someone who's done a bit of, not really research or anything, but I've kind of learned a little bit about how the media works and things like that. It's just very biased. It's just how they want to deliver the message. And if the people who, for example, at CNN, Clinton News Network, for example, they're pro-Hillary, well, they're going to continue to run stories that are negative towards Trump. They're going to continue to praise Hillary. They're going to continue to try and manipulate and persuade their viewers that Hillary Clinton is the right candidate choice. And I don't know if anyone has really been that way for Trump, but the media, all I'm going to say is the media has its own message it's going to deliver. You can choose to agree with that message and kind of go with that message, or you can choose to form your own opinion. And I would definitely encourage you to kind of research different outlets, look up different opinions, and kind of form an opinion of your own, whether it's Hillary, whether it's Trump for this example, or whoever it may be in the future. Never always believe what the media tells you, because the media can hide the facts. The media is only telling you what it wants to tell you. So, in terms of this election, a lot of shit I've been reading is kind of like, really, is this the full story? And, they choose to hide a lot of things. So it's frustrating as a viewer that you're not really getting the full picture, and the media is kind of just saying what it wants to tell you. So all I have to really say is, if you really want to know the full story, do a little bit more research, and don't always believe the media tells you. But anyways, the election was crazy. It was cool. I enjoyed it. A nice surprise seeing Trump win. I'm not going to go on who I thought should have won, who I was going to vote. I can't vote anyway, so I don't really have an opinion. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Either way, you could be indifferent on the winner. And I'm not a politics guy. It's certainly not American politics, so I'm not really going to go into it. But I just had to touch it because obviously it's huge news right now. Still news everywhere about it, so I just thought I'd give my 2 cents. But like I said, don't believe everything the media tells you. Anyways, wrestling chat. Let's get into it. So this week's Monday Night Raw. Raw this week, I thought was okay. A lot of promos. I think it was only one match in the first hour of Raw. It was a lot of talking. But to me, as someone who likes the storylines of wrestling, to me who likes likes promos a lot and things like that. I didn't really have a problem with it. I like that kind of back and forth interaction if it's good. And I thought a lot of the promos were pretty good. So I enjoyed Raw. I definitely really enjoyed SmackDown. I think SmackDown was pretty good this week. Probably better than Raw, to be honest. Next week though, Raw will be pretty cool. Goldberg and Lesnar are going to face off for the first time in years and years and years, which would be crazy. Be interested to see what happens there. I would predict probably a brawl or some kind of a fight. I think Goldberg will get the better of Lesnar just to obviously build that up. Goldberg probably going to maybe punch Lesnar, maybe hit a spear on Lesnar, and Lesnar will run away and kind of, Paul Heyman will beg him not to fight him and save it for the pay-per-view, save it for the Survivor Series, blah, 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 blah. So that's where I kind of see that going, but that should be a good interaction, and that should be a good way to kind of build towards the Survivor Series match. Seth Rollins was announced this week as the 5th member of the Raw Survivor Series team, the men's singles team, men's Survivor Series team, I should say, for all the singles superstars. So I thought Seth Rollins was the right choice. I said last week on the show I think it will be Seth Rollins, even though there was a rumor that Sami Zayn was going to be the guy. There was a graphic that was shown that was showing Sami Zayn as the 5th member. That was proven to be false, or they changed plans, either or. I think it would have made no sense at all if Seth Rollins was left out of this team. I think him in the team makes it a really strong team. It's a really strong 5, to be honest with you. I think both Survivor Series teams are pretty strong. I think on paper, you'd have to say Raw's team is probably stronger. If SmackDown had John Cena, definitely would probably go with SmackDown's team as the stronger of the team. On paper, of course, but they don't. So instead, Shane McMahon was going to be, has been put in there. We'll talk more about that later on. That was a really big surprise for me. So we'll talk more about that later on. But I think both teams are looking really, really good. Next week on the show, we'll give our full Survivor Series predictions of where they're going to go. I'm really excited for Survivor Series, actually, because obviously Survivor Series matches are my favorite. I've been saying that for weeks now. They are my favorite type of match, and we're going to get 3 of them. Now, I think the tag match and the women's match will probably be okay. The women's match should be better. I think the tag match will probably just be a bit of a spot fest. A lot of teams getting eliminated pretty quickly. I don't see it going for that long. But I think the main event, the 5-on-5 of the men, I think will be a long match, probably a 45-minute match. And I think that match will be really, really good. I could see that being a great match and a great story. The only thing I'd like to see is probably some more implications behind it. More, the winning team gets something instead of bragging rights. Instead of, hey, we beat Raw, hey, we beat SmackDown. Let's give them something to kind of work with, perhaps. Like I've said, I've kind of compared it to my Universe mode when I did my Survivor Series and when I've done other brand versus brand things, is there's always something on the line, like a draft pick, the first brand to get the first draft pick, or, the brand to kind of earn a draft pick, or the brand to get the next NXT Superstar, or the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble. Different things that they can kind of go with, and I think if they kind of went with that and kind of added a little bit extra onto this match, I think it could give it a bit more meaning. And I think a lot of us would be pretty happy with that. I just think lacking a little bit of meaning behind it. Yes, it's Raw versus SmackDown, but if they had a little bit more behind it, I think it definitely would resonate with the crowd a little bit better. I really enjoyed the Fatal 5-Way between the 5 Raw superstars in the tag team match. I think it was a really, really well done match. The finish was interesting. Obviously, Owens laying on Jericho, accidentally pinning him. I think sets up for probably an instance where we may see Jericho turn on Owens. It really feels as though that's where they're kind of leading. And I'm not sure if that's the right idea. I really don't believe Jericho and Owens should split up. I think they should just kind of keep them together. If Jericho's going away, so be it. Suspend him, do something, do some kind of storyline, injury storyline, do something where you take Jericho out of the picture. But I really don't want to see him gone from this tag team of Jericho and Kevin Owens, because yes, you can put it on hiatus, and you can bring Jericho back later on and revisit it, because it's so good. It's so good. But yes, a 1-month feud for Jericho and Owens, I don't think it's really worth that. I think if Jericho was going to be around for another 6 months, I think yes, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. Jericho is on fire. Jericho getting great reactions, doing so well every week. It'd be a shame to kind of see him go now, but unfortunately, I guess you'd rather go out when, the crowd are loving you compared to when the crowd aren't. I will say this, though, the crowd this week on Raw, and even a little bit on SmackDown, more so on Raw, was really, really weird. Like, the Glasgow crowd, I'm not sure what to really think of you, to be honest. If you're from Glasgow, I don't know, but it's always interesting to me watching different crowds from different countries. Japan, for example, is such a fascinating crowd. You know, the way they respond, the way they react to different things, compared to America, compared to the UK, compared to all these different countries, is always really fascinating to me. So that's why I kind of thought this was a bit of a fascinating but very weird crowd at the same time. Because when someone comes out to the ring, they give them a big pop, a nice reaction, nice little reaction, then it dies off quickly. And then it's silent. And I don't know if it was just a bad mic or something like that, but this is my opinion, how I felt about the crowd. It was just silent until something happened. You just couldn't hear anything. There was no chatter, no people yelling out, no people, chanting really. Yes, they hijacked the segment with Bayley and whatever, but for the most part, they were very silent until maybe a big move went down or a finisher went down. Then they would react. But during that period of time, they would just be very silent. But normally you hear the chatter going around, but just a very quiet but very strange crowd. And not the worst crowd at all, not the worst crowd, but very, very different. Very different. But Noam Dar made his debut this week as well from Scotland, I believe. Yes, that's why you got the hometown reaction. So is that an inflated reaction? Is he going to get that reaction everywhere else? Hell no. It's a hometown reaction. But nonetheless, a good reaction and a good way to start him off. A great debut by WWE. That was a very smart decision to hold him off, and wait for the right time. And that's something that they need to do a little bit more. Rather than rushing everyone out there, get him out there now, wait for the right time. The cruiserweights really definitely needed someone like a Noam Dar. He's a very small guy, but he's a good-looking dude. I've already read a lot of comments, a lot of women saying, oh my god, this guy is so blah, 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 blah. They love him. I haven't got my girlfriend to kind of comment on him yet, so maybe I'll have to show her a picture of him and see her reaction. But for the most part, a lot of women seem to be pretty, okay with him. He's a pretty small dude, but I think he could have a good impact in the cruiserweight division. Probably going to be more of a mid-card guy. Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? If team with Kendrick, you have to say he's a heel, but obviously Kendrick turning on him probably makes him more of a babyface in the end. So we'll see. We'll see where they go with that. Could be just for the one night. They might make him a face, then they might make him heel afterwards. I don't know. But very, very interesting reaction. Very interesting to see Noam Dar there. I know Grand Metalik is due to come back soon as well, which I am so excited about. Grand Metalik is the one cruiserweight that I really enjoyed the most in the tournament. He's the one guy that I gravitated towards the most. He's the one guy that I look forward to seeing the most. So I was a little disappointed when he had to go back and finish some of his indie dates. But now he's going to be back soon, and I cannot wait. I think he is freaking awesome. I cannot wait. He might be the one guy that I could see really propel this division because he's got a mask, he's got a character. Wouldn't shock me if he's Cruiserweight champion early next year. I think he could be a great, great asset for this division. And speaking of the division, is it going to Raw or SmackDown? Kalisto and Brian Kendrick are going to have a match at Survivor Series. If Kalisto wins, the division's going to go to SmackDown. So that's a really crazy stipulation. If Kalisto wins, he wins the Cruiserweight title, and the whole division goes to SmackDown. Where did that come from? Why is that happening? That's out of the blue. So that's crazy. That a whole division could be on the line. Not a title, the whole division. So everyone in the Cruiserweight division is going to SmackDown if Kalisto wins. So that is really, really nuts. But will he win? Look, it is possible. They are introducing the new 205 live show on SmackDown, so after SmackDown, which I still, by the way, I cannot believe that is happening. I found out that Talking Smack is going to happen after 205 Live, so that's still... I don't know why they have to do Talking Smack live, and they could always do that, do it whilst 205 Live is on, and then they can go home after 205 Live, but for some reason they have to spend an extra half an hour doing Talking Smack as well. So that's just nuts to me. But anyways, so there is a chance. There is a chance because 205 Live will be on after SmackDown. There is a chance that they might just shift the whole division to SmackDown and go from there. Now, was that a smart idea? I don't know. I don't know, because yes, it would save time and traveling costs and things like that. Like, I have the whole division, whole show on the one brand. But at the same time, is that going to be the time slot that they need? You know, SmackDown only has 2 hours. It feels like we don't get through everyone as it is on SmackDown. Some people miss out every week. You know, for the most part, it's a very compact show. It generally gets through everything that it needs to, and not much else more. So, is there room for the cruiserweights on the SmackDown show? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So, in my opinion, the cruiserweights should stay on Raw, but they need to start actually using them and utilizing them better on Raw. The way they use them on Raw is pathetic. And rather than giving up on the cruiserweights on Raw, they need to kind of step it up and change it up and get these guys over. Do something. I think the big issue with the cruiserweights is that a lot of the guys are same old, same old. There's not really many characters. There's not really many people standing out in the division. TJ Perkins has been an absolute failure, a huge flop. He's really, really struggled. I think him as the top babyface in the division was a major, major mistake. Really, really bad idea. But unfortunately, didn't really have anyone else. Really didn't have anyone else to turn to. But in my opinion, Rich Swann or Cedric Alexander should have been one of those guys who has taken that next leap, and looks as though that's going to be where they're headed going forward with Rich Swann anyways. Which I think is a far better candidate, because Rich Swann gets a reaction. Yes, he's got the dance moves. The crowd kind of gets him into a little bit. He's fun. He's exciting. Whereas TJ Perkins is just bland. His promos are really bad. His acting is pathetic. It's not working. It's really not working. The way they're trying to utilize him, the story that they're trying to build, it's not working. So TJ Perkins needs to be the type of guy who just gets it done in the ring and not on the mic, and leave the promos to someone else, because it is not working at all for him on the mic. But could the cruiserweight shift to the other show? I don't think so, but you never know. You just don't know, because they could just say, screw it, let's just completely change the show. Maybe we'll see go to SmackDown for 3 months, and then Raw will win it back at WrestleMania, or the Raw Rumble. I mean, something stupid. I could see WWE doing that, let's be honest. You know, the cruiserweight division shifting on both, and eventually, let's just have it on both shows, you know. But I think the issue is that they're not allocating enough time. You know, they're putting one 5-minute match on Raw. In 3 hours, they're only finding one 5-minute match for the cruiserweights to do, and maybe one promo. I mean, 10 minutes out of 3 hours towards an entire division. You wonder why it's not working. You wonder why it's failing. Yes, they're worried about it because people aren't getting a reaction, and the crowd aren't responding to the way they would have liked. So they're giving it less and less time because of that. But the reason why they're not responding is because you are not giving it enough time, and not giving it enough time and effort to get these guys over. So it's a tough situation for WWE. They know the cruiserweights aren't working, but do they spend the extra time and kind of upset the crowd and perhaps create a bit of a piss break portion of the show to try and work on this division? I think they have to. I think you got to persevere. This is a new division. It's always going to take time. I think it's always going to take 6 months for this division to start to work, but I can't see it working in 6 months, because I just don't see any direction from WWE that would suggest that they are doing the right things and putting the right things in place to make this division work. I just don't see how they're going to turn things around, because they're not really putting any effort in it at all to try and do so. Bringing in a few different names could help. Grand Metalik could help, but I mean, he's an unknown to the United States, really. No one really knows who he is. I always still think Neville should be in that division. Kalisto should be in the division. A few guys who've been on TV for a few years now. People know who they are, know what they're all about. A few established names could really help and help elevate this division. Someone like Neville should be holding the title right now. You know, maybe Neville and Brian Kendrick, you know, one of those at least. Kendrick, not a bad choice, but the fact of the matter is he was off TV for such a long time. He's not going to ever come back and get this massive ovation and the crowd love him, because he was never really a star. He was a mid-carder to begin with when he was here originally. So bringing him back and trying to build the whole division around him is not really a good idea to begin with. So they probably should have used someone like Neville, who, by the way, isn't much of a star either in WWE. I think he's a great talent, but he hasn't really got over much either. But still, it's someone who's been on TV currently, and the crowd can kind of connect with already and know what he's all about. Man that gravity forgot. Hello? hello, hello. Why is he not in the cruiserweight division? That's exactly his gimmick is exactly fit perfectly for the cruiserweight division. So I still don't get that. But anyways, moving on. Last point. Why is Alicia Fox in the Survivor Series team for the women for Raw? Why? Dana Brooke would be a better choice. Now, I can't believe I'm saying that. Dana Brooke, yes, I want to see her in this team. But would Dana Brooke be a better choice? They teased it, but then they turned it into Sasha Banks coming out. So why is Alicia Fox in this team? What has she done? She got beat the fuck up by Nia Jax the last time I remember she was on the show. So how does she earn herself a spot in this team? How? I have no idea. And people say the Raw women's division is stronger. Yes, they have the biggest stars, but the depth is lacking. If they have to have Alicia Fox on the team to kind of fill the numbers, that's pretty bad. Considering, Alicia Fox, don't get me wrong, she's a good talent, but let's be honest, they haven't really done anything with her for a long time now. So her on the show is on the team is a little concerning for the show. Anyways, moving on to SmackDown. Next week, episode 900 of SmackDown. Crazy. Undertaker's going to be on the show, which I think is going to be cool to see him again. Not sure what he's going to do. I think, obviously, the rumor is he's going to interact with the Wyatts and perhaps interact with Kane and kind of help Kane out there, which I think would make some sense. Anything else, what would really be the point of having it out there unless they're going to try and build towards a feud or something like that? But nonetheless, it should be interesting to see. Undertaker, in my opinion, is one of the guys that I always look at as one of the staples of SmackDown. When I think of the SmackDown brand, I think of, Batista, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, obviously. Those types, and Edge as well. I always thought Edge as a kind of like a Raw guy, because when I started watching, he was more on Raw, but obviously he spent a lot of time at SmackDown, so definitely Edge as well. So those are the type of names that I think of when I think of SmackDown. So it's cool that they're bringing The Undertaker back, and obviously, as I just said, Edge as well. It's good to see that he's coming back as well to kind of celebrate. So a couple of names that I think that will certainly boost the ratings a little bit, which, by the way, was really, really bad this week. Obviously, the election was on. Now, let's be honest. If you're going to watch SmackDown, you're going to watch the election. No-brainer. But anyways, I think SmackDown has been very, very good for a long period of time. So it's good to see SmackDown's made a bit of a resurgence this year. And ever since the brand split, I think SmackDown's been the better show. And it's been a joy to watch. And it's good to see a bit of variety in the WWE. If you don't like Raw, you can watch SmackDown. If you like SmackDown, you've got something you can watch. If you don't like SmackDown, you can go to Raw. There's always something to watch. Do different types of shows. And yes, they are different to a degree. Not just different wrestlers, but different styles, the way they do things. It's the general WWE style, but, SmackDown has its own little different flavor, and so does Raw. So you can get a taste of either show and kind of pick which one you want to, dig into. So I think it's good to see SmackDown back to its glory. It's not as good as it perhaps was, back in the early 2000s, but it's still a great show right now, and I think it's without a doubt the better show. So I'm going to be to see what they do next week. I don't know who's on the cutting edge. They could have announced it, I might have missed it, but as far as I know, I don't know. Probably maybe the Survivor Series team I could see being on there, but we'll see. The Miz apparently could be being traded to Raw. I watched Talking Smack, and Daniel Bryan was threatening Miz if he's going to lose next week to Dolph Ziggler, that he could be being traded to Raw, which I think would be a good decision. Bring someone like Cesaro or Sami Zayn and bring them to SmackDown. I think Sami Zayn would really prosper on SmackDown. I think he's the type of guy who's kind of lost on Raw. Whereas, you look at the mid-card on SmackDown, you've got Baron Corbin, you've got Apollo Crews, you've got The Miz, you've got Dolph Ziggler. That's really about it. Kalisto as well, I guess, as well. So Sami Zayn could really slot in there and be an Intercontinental Champion, couldn't he? He could really slot in there and have a lot of time, a lot of success. Same with Cesaro. Obviously, Cesaro's in a tag team right now, so that's probably not going to happen. But Sami Zayn's a possibility. And honestly, Sami Zayn could win the Intercontinental Championship. I know he has a match at Survivor Series for the title. So maybe he wins the Intercontinental Championship, and maybe Raw trades Sami Zayn for The Miz. Now, would that make sense? I don't know. Would you trade a champion for a non-champion? That's a fair point. But I think that would be a good trade. I think it would be a good decision. Now, whilst The Miz has been doing very, very well on SmackDown, that's the issue. Miz has been doing very, very well. Now, do you want to ruin that? But the thing is, he's kind of run its course a little bit already. You know, he's kind of done everything there is to really do on SmackDown. He's feuded with Ziggler. It's clear they're probably not going to push him to the main event. So maybe he can bring that act and be that disgruntled guy over on Raw. And maybe it will work. Maybe he can interact with Foley. Maybe he might come after the Roman Reigns. I don't know. But I think The Miz, for the most part, has been doing very, very well. It would be a shame to see him leave SmackDown, but I think Sami Zayn on SmackDown will just be so good. And I'm not a Sami Zayn fan, to be honest with you. I'm really not. I really don't care that much about Sami Zayn. But I think, you know, I'm looking at the rosters on terms of placement. Where would be the best fit for Sami Zayn? Well, SmackDown's got to be it. The Breezango, a new gimmick for this team. The cop gimmick, the fashion police. Now you're probably thinking, Brendan, there's no way you like that. I know you. I've listened to this show. There's no way that you think this is any good at all. But I will say this. I don't mind it because it is something different. It's something for them to do. It gives them something. You know, I watched them on Talking Smack. They were giving Renee Young and Daniel Bryan these, you know, tickets for dressing badly. It's something. It's stupid. It's goofy, but it's a character, and it gives them some kind of recognition. You can recognize them for something, and it gives them something to work with. Because before that, what were they? Nothing. So it might be silly, it might be stupid, but I think it is just something that they really need just to get them on the board. You know, they're just trying to make their first bucket of the night, and this is a way to get them on the board and get them a start. And that's what they need. They need a kickstart, and putting them on the Survivor Series team was a good choice. This new little change of gimmick that they're trying to do could work. Might not work, we'll see. But it's something that they really needed. A nice change that they really needed just to get them on the board. Just to get them going somewhere. Get them some kind of momentum. Because I think, to be honest, I think they should be one of the better teams on SmackDown. I think they should be positioned as one of the top tier teams on SmackDown. But the fact that they're barely on the show is disappointing to me, because I think they're not a bad team at all. You know, Tyler Breeze, a pretty good talent. Fandango, not too bad. So, I thought they were a good fit as a tag team to begin with. I really felt as though those two guys together was a good fit. And that's like a male model team. That didn't quite work, so maybe this tweak and gimmick could be the change that they need to kind of progress them further. The fifth member of the SmackDown Survivor Series team, Shane McMahon. What a surprise. And that's not sarcasm. Normally, I'm very sarcastic, but that's actually not sarcasm. I am actually generally shocked that Shane McMahon is the fifth member. When they were teasing it, when Brian's looking at his list, honestly, I thought Undertaker. You know, when he was taking out the list, I thought, alright, Undertaker could be the fifth man. Would that be great? Hell yeah. Undertaker is the fifth man, comes in, only has to work 3 minutes, 5 minutes of the tag match. Maybe he picks up the win. Maybe he gets out early. Maybe Strowman gets the pin on Undertaker. Strowman pins Undertaker. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be a great rub for Strowman? But no, they went with Shane McMahon. Now, storyline purposes, it's 50-50. On one hand, SmackDown's meant to be the land of opportunity, a brand that gives chances to anyone. So why is the general manager taking the opportunity of someone else? That's beyond me. But saying at the same time, obviously there's dissension between the other four on the team. They can't get along. There's a divide. The Wyatts, well, Randy apparently in the Wyatts. There's the Wyatts, and there's Ambrose and Styles, and obviously there was Baron Corbin as well. So it's dissension and a divide in the team. So why not have the GM be on the team to, you know, make sure everyone's doing what they're meant to be doing, to sort everyone out, to kind of control the team. So it does make sense, and it doesn't make sense at the same time. So I'm going to go with it does make sense. I'll ignore the whole land of opportunity thing, because Shane McMahon's, well, Daniel Bryan's making a decision to try and, you know, I don't know, they didn't really touch on it, but I'm just kind of putting this in my own mind to kind of justify it. They're trying to regulate the team. They're trying to control the team, and what better way to do it than have the commissioner on the team? I've seen Shane McMahon in Survivor Series tag matches. My favorite Survivor Series tag of all time is 2001, the Invasion Survivor Series tag. And Shane McMahon on that team was fucking hilarious, man. Every time someone tried to get a pinfall, Shane McMahon would come in and break it up. Every time until he got eliminated. It was hilarious. It was just great. So, I've enjoyed Shane McMahon's Survivor Series team. Maybe he'll do something like that again. Who knows? But I'm not against it. And it'd be cool to see Shane again in the ring. Why not? He's in good shape. Looks good. I think the crowd will respond well to it. I think the crowd still generally likes Shane a lot. And seeing him in the ring again, I think people will be pretty happy. And also, better than Baron Corbin, isn't it? Baron Corbin, you looked at the star power on the team. You looked at Randy Orton, even Bray Wyatt, Styles, Ambrose, Baron Corbin. You know, it didn't really fit well, did it? I understood what they were going to try and do, Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, but Strowman's like double the size of Corbin, let's be honest. Baron Corbin, yes, he's pretty tall, but let's be honest, he's not exactly well built. Strowman is a fucking human brick wall. He's a machine. He is a monster. So to even compare the two would be laughable. Undertaker would have been a better option if they wanted to try and do that, like I said. But Shane McMahon is fine. I'm happy with that. He'll probably be the first one to go. Let's be honest, probably the first guy eliminated on the Smackdown team. And that would be perfectly fine. Last couple things here for Smackdown. Kurt Hawkins beat Apollo Crews. Why? Apollo Crews, it's just embarrassing how badly they have buried this guy. And I will say the word buried because he came in with so much potential, was doing well in NXT, and now he's losing in quick fashion to guys like Kurt Hawkins. I mean, I can't believe it, man. I really like Apollo Crews. I just, what's going wrong? What's happened? Who is he pissed off? They're not liking the smiley thing. Are they angry about that? He's not gotten over. He must have pissed someone off because they are against him right now, and nothing's working for him. I fear for Apollo Crews, I really do, because let's be honest, who have they got in this mid-card? No one, really. And Apollo Crews was probably a great catalyst to kind of push towards that IC championship, but he's nearly done now. He's more than beyond done. You lose to Kurt Hawkins, a guy who they bitched out. I mean, yeah, it's not looking good, but hopefully he can bounce back. And it was interesting, they hyped up for SmackDown this week the main event, Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss, and they put it in the middle of the show. Now, what was the deal with that? Was that a split-second change or last-minute decision? It felt like that. It felt like alright, let's just switch it up here. I mean, to be honest, what was a better choice? Having Shane McMahon announce as the fifth member to close the show out, or Becky Lynch retaining a title? Probably Shane McMahon. Incredible reaction by the crowd. Everyone in unison chanting yes, yes, yes. A little bit better than a nice polite applause that Becky Lynch retained her title. So definitely probably for the best. But I thought we were actually going to see SmackDown try and replicate what Raw's been doing and have a women's main event to close out a show, but they decided against it. And I mean, probably for the best, to be honest. To be honest, I think it's probably for the best because Alexa Bliss just isn't quite there yet as a popular superstar. She hasn't quite got there yet. She will get there, I think, but she's got a bit more work to do. And Becky Lynch, whilst she's popular, if it had been her hometown in Ireland, I probably would have went with that, but it was Scotland instead, so I don't know. Is there a rivalry between Scotland and Ireland? I'm not 100% sure. Could be. So maybe people don't want to see. I know Sheamus got booed, but that's Sheamus. But anyways, we'll move on to a couple different things right now. A few different rumors going around and a couple things before we head into our questions. We've kind of already done the gaming chat already, haven't we? So we can kind of go straight to our questions after this. Rumor going around right now, Rusev could be turning face and completely changing his gimmick. Now, my opinions, I think a face change will need a dramatic change to his character, a complete overhaul. What should they go with? I really don't know. When you spend the last 3 years talking about how bad USA is, and how much you hate America, and how much you hate the people, and to try and turn that around into something, that's going to be tough. Rusev, to be honest, might need 6 months of TV. For this to work, he and Lana may need 6 months of TV, and change his look, maybe get a haircut, change his ring attire, change his gimmick, change everything. He needs a complete overhaul for this to work. Now, would a face turn help him? Yes, because he's been a heel for a number of years now. It has worked in periods of time. It's been great. But since he's been absolutely just bitched out and brutalized by Roman Reigns, it's gotten to the point where Rusev, you couldn't believe he'd ever be able to beat anyone, because Roman Reigns has kicked out at absolutely everything but the kitchen sink. Well, let's include the kitchen sink that Rusev's thrown at Reigns, and Reigns kicked out. Rusev has lost 4 or 5 big matches against Roman Reigns in a short period of time. Rusev needs probably some time off to freshen up, and it wasn't that long ago that he came back. So if they want to do a gimmick change, I'm not sure what gimmick to do, but I will say this: if you want to change him up, he and Lana need to go off TV for at least 6 months and come back freshened up, and hopefully the crowd will respond to him. A new look, like I said, maybe the shorter hair, maybe Lana dresses completely differently, maybe Lana drops the Russian accent. Maybe they do a storyline where Lana's been learning how to speak American. I don't know, something stupid. I could see them do that, but I don't know. But we'll see. They just have to do something. And Rusev, to be honest, I think Rusev's great. And I'm shocked that he never made it as a main event heel, because really his bad booking was the issue, the downfall, not Rusev, because he's a great talent. I enjoy his matches. I think Rusev is very, 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 very good. But maybe it's a case where he needs to go to SmackDown. Maybe he needs to switch brands, because switching brands, I think, is something that will be utilized a lot to freshen up someone, new opponents, new rivals, new opportunities, new chance, a restart. And that's what a bit of a brand switch is. That's how I've kind of perceived it anyways. So Rusev maybe could utilize that in the future. Total Bellas ended this week as well. I haven't had a chance to watch the season finale. Yes, I watched the rest of the season. It's okay. I mean, the whole Daniel Bryan story is really interesting to see how he's kind of reacted from having to retire, and the downfall of him. That's been pretty interesting to see throughout the season. I think that the season finale is like Nikki Bella getting back in the ring and Brie Bella retiring and things like that. So that's cool. Total Divas is back next week. Lana and Maurice will be on the show, as far as I know, which I think is a good call. Paige is still on the show. We're interested to see what she does, what she gets up to. But for the most part, I think Total Divas will probably be a bit of same old, just to kind of the same shit, different storyline, different people. But I'll check it out. I mean, I like, I've said this in this show many times. I like Total Divas and Total Bellas for one really main reason, is because you get to see different backstage clips. You get to see different people interact backstage. The women were interacting with like an R-Truth or a Titus O'Neil, things like that, or interacting with Daniel Bryan, with Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan, for example, Cena and Nikki Bella. Just these different things you get to see and learn a little bit more about the people that you watch on TV. Learn a little bit more what John Cena's like for real, and a lot of it is scripted, a lot of it's bullshit, but some of it's for real. And, I enjoy it. I enjoy a few different snippets of it. Yes, there's some times where the show is really bad. It's true. Certainly Total Divas. I don't think Total Bellas is that bad, but there is some times where it's like, really? We're putting this in there? But I think the show's okay. It's okay. Just okay. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and get into our questions to close out the show. If you do have a question, make sure you do send it in for next week's show by leaving a comment in the comment section of this YouTube video. If you are listening to the show elsewhere, you can head over to the website, brendanplays.com/forums, and leave your question there, or a voicemail at brendanplays.com, or by checking out our Facebook page, Brendan Plays Official, and leaving a question on there when the question thread is posted up. Generally, we post it up Wednesday, maybe early Thursday, so something like that. So check that out, leave a question, and we'll try and answer it. A lot of the times, though, you guys kind of probably give me some questions that are like, questions I will probably answer, like, what are your thoughts on Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar type of thing. Most likely I'm going to already answer that throughout the show, so maybe kind of ask a few questions that maybe I wouldn't generally answer, just through general chit-chat. So we will start it off now with our first question.
What do you feel about Orton is joining the Wyatt family?
I'm still on the fence of the whole Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt thing. I still think it's going to turn into Orton turning on the Wyatts and kind of, attacking Bray, just kind of using him and kind of playing him this whole time. But the more I see these guys together, the more I feel as though they're actually going to go with this. I mean, I really hope not. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. It's not right. The crowd want to cheer Randy Orton. Putting him with Bray Wyatt isn't really going to work. Randy Orton was hot. Randy Orton was doing well. Randy Orton was getting a great reaction. And now, ever since this Bray Wyatt feud, he's been cooled off dramatically. So they probably need to get Orton away from Bray Wyatt ASAP and get him towards AJ Styles, because that is money. Styles versus Orton is money. Bray and Orton is not at this point. I think that rivalry is kind of played out already, and it's time to probably move on. This next question is coming in from Caleb Allen. I'm a huge fan of yours, Brendan Plays. My question is to you, what are your plans on the night after WrestleMania? Are you still doing the draft or not on Universe Mode? 100% still doing the draft. Absolutely, the draft will take place. As always, this time there'll be a bit of a twist to it compared to previous years, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. But I think it'll be very, very exciting to kind of switch up the rosters again. And this year I probably might draft a few more, kind of switch up the rosters even more so than I've done in the past. Sometimes I probably only do, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 picks for each brand, something like that. This time I might just kind of really switch it up and kind of go crazy with it. But we'll see. Kind of see how I go and how I feel about it. But yeah, so it's still 100% the draft will take place. And that'll be after the night after WrestleMania. This one from Cameron Fox. If a legend is dead, do you use them in Universe Mode? No, I don't. Only people who are active on the main roster right now, or NXT right now, are active in the WWE, I generally use. Sometimes I bring in a few people that aren't signed with WWE right now, and generally only for a short period of time will I bring them in. Occasionally I'll keep them around, but for the most part, only people who are currently wrestling right now in WWE will I use. From Thomas Bella, what is your thoughts on a Raw superstar challenging for a SmackDown title? I don't mind it for a pay-per-view like Survivor Series where brand versus brand is taking place. For any other pay-per-view, I'd probably be against it. But since Survivor Series traditionally, was back in the day, brand versus brand, I'm okay. I'm all for it. But it's kind of happening for no reason whatsoever. That's my only issue. Like Sami Zayn and Ziggler's happening for no real reason. Kendrick and Kalisto's happening for no real reason. So that's where I kind of have a small issue. There's no real storyline, no real purpose, no real meaning behind it, other than hey, let's try and get the title from SmackDown and bring it over to Raw kind of thing. Another one from Thomas. Which superstars do you think could benefit from going back to NXT? I think someone like Apollo Crews, for example, we talked about him earlier on, struggling on the main roster. Go back to NXT, freshen up a little bit, try something different down there, could work. Maybe the Ascension as a tag team, go back to NXT, change the gimmick, try something different. That's what NXT really should be for. Change gimmick, try something different, and try and get yourself back over again and head back to the main roster with that gimmick. It's basically what OVW and FCW and all those places were for back in the day. This time, the only issue is it's televised to more people. So if they are going to change something, we already know what's going to happen. We already know what they're working on before they bring it to the main roster. So that can really work or work against you. So there's a couple of people I really think. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Dana Brooke probably needs to go back to learn how to wrestle better. Other than that, who else really? I don't really see too many. I think a few people probably should be rather released rather than kind of repackaged, but that's the people that I think probably should be repackaged. All right, these next questions are coming in from Roy the Boy. Will you ever stream Skyrim Remastered? Probably not, to be honest with you. I've kind of already gotten a fair way through it. If I was going to stream it, I would have streamed it from the beginning. But it's a game I've kind of really played for a couple of days there, really played a lot of it. I've kind of cooled off it a little bit right now, so I don't know if I'm going to go back to it full time and kind of really smash it out. But I did play a lot of it. I probably put 20, 30 hours in straight away, but right now I've kind of cooled off a little bit on it. But yeah, RPGs I definitely love playing. I love Fallout, love Skyrim. I want to play Dragon Age again. I want to play The Witcher and finish them finally. I want to do that, but I just haven't really gotten around to it. It's a type of game where I just need to sit down and kind of allocate a week of my life to that game. And that's what I want to do at some point to The Witcher and Dragon Age Inquisition, for example. Skyrim, I've kind of done that a little bit, but I've kind of gotten the shooter bug again. I've kind of gone on to Call of Duty and Battlefield and things like that. So I'm not sure if I will be streaming them anytime soon. From Johnny Dixon, do you believe that Survivor Series is in danger of having way too much filler, especially with the pay-per-view being 4 hours and having so few championship matches and no real side feuds going on right now? Well, he said this in a week ago. They've added in a few extra championship matches now, so that the Intercontinental and the Cruiserweight title match. But I get what you're saying. There's really not much else going on, and there's not really many storylines that are happening. If there is, it's all centered around the actual Survivor Series matches itself. And it's mainly inside of each team, there's a storyline. Ambrose and Styles, Owens, Jericho and Rollins, Charlotte and Sasha Banks, for example. So we've kind of not really seeing much back and forth between the two brands, but that's obviously because there is a split, and they don't really see that. But I think Survivor Series will be fine if they really utilize the minutes well of their key marquee matches. If they kind of focus on allocating the minutes accordingly to those matches or really focus on those, it could be pretty good. But if they kind of give too much filler, kind of squeeze a few extra matches in there just to, get the time in, that's when Survivor Series will have a bit of a downfall. Final question today comes from Football Skills FC. Do you think Grand Metalik will get a title? We kind of talked about it a little earlier, but I absolutely do think he will win the Cruiserweight Championship at some point. But the reason why I answer this question again is because I think Cruiserweight Championship is not only the championship, it's not the only championship he will win. I think he could be I'm not going to say the one, but a very select few that could break through the Cruiserweights and head into another division beyond that and win championships elsewhere. I really feel as though he could be very good. Now, he hasn't got the English or anything like that, but Grand Metalik was so fun to watch, man. I hope they let him do his shit. The stuff he can do on the ropes is insane. He is a great special talent. I hope he has a lot of success because I've really enjoyed watching him in a short period of time. I cannot wait to see what he comes up with in the future. So yes, I think he could win gold, but not just Cruiserweight gold. Maybe a US title, maybe an IC title. Who knows? That's it from me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of the LTT Podcast. I am sweating bullets. It is so freaking hot. I had to turn the fan off, the AC off. It is so hot. I am going to go melt away and slowly die. It is hot as hell here in Australia. So all you guys are about to hit winter, I'm jealous because it is boiling hot here. But I am going to go and keep on gaming, dude. I've been playing a lot of games. I've got an exam coming up, but I'm going to try and game as much as I possibly can before I have to begin the study for the exam. And I'm looking forward to Survivor Series coming up. It's been a crazy week. Bit of a quiet week in terms of wrestling, but a crazy week in terms of the world with the election and things like that. But very, very excited for what is to come. Hope you guys enjoyed the Elimination Chamber that I put up over the weekend. If you haven't already checked that out, we are going to be getting the road to Wrestlemania. Cannot wait. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Make sure you leave a question for next week's show, and I'll see you all next Thursday.